mission of the Rainbow Alianza was to organize events and provide safe spaces that nourish and nurture and strengthen the LGBT community in the city of Lawrence. Since 2016, we've partnered with local individuals, organizations, and corporations to carry out the mission in a collaborative and democratic manner. So we want to continue that each and every year and strengthen our reach and our voices. So today we are standing together and we're celebrating the freedom flag and celebrate our support of the LGBT community as a family. We join together in unity across all lines of differences: race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, and religion. Joining together in the name of love, acceptance, and equality. Each year we do this as we celebrate our pride. And each story is different, and everyone that comes out here has their own personal journey. But as a whole, in all our fears, we're still joining together and making sure that our voices are heard. Whether it be one person or 10 people, we're all out here trying to support each other through the strength and resiliency of these connections through our community. We need to continue to use our voice in making sure that we have pride in our system, in our streets, in our schools, in our cities, departments, and from every angle that we can reach, we want to be able to do that. These celebrations have started from over 55 years ago, from the Stonewall riots, where gay residents from Greenwich Village were protesting to live freely without fear of being arrested regardless of sexual orientation. And as the start of the Rainbow Alianza happened, which was in 2016, it was out of the remembrance of the Pulse nightclub shooting that took the lives of 49 innocent people. And more recently, in November of 2022, another horrible murder happened at Club Q in Orlando, where 5 killings and more injured, and over a dozen were reportedly injured at that club. That's one of the most important things we need to hear. You're going out just celebrating yourself, and you can think of this as going out to dinner with just your friends. You don't have to think of it as just because it was at a gay club. It could happen anywhere. A local bar, walking down the street with a group of friends, and you can be murdered just because you appear to be gay or you look like you love someone other than what is considered normal. And we need to break that stigma. We need to be able to openly be aware of everyone's surroundings, making sure that we advocate towards the police and say, we need your support. If we have a fear, if we see something that's happening, make sure that we connect with our police and our local officials. Making sure that our elected officials are here for us, making sure that we're using our voice in ways that need to be heard. We can't keep being silenced. And one of those things that happens is when we break down and we shut down and we stop joining moments like this. That's where it starts becoming unsafe for us and for you. And for anyone that is an ally, it becomes unsafe for you as well. So we're going to stand here today and we're going to remember all the people that have passed, and we're going to talk about a lot of things that are really true and terrifying right now, and most of it has to do with legislation and bills and our voices that are going to be shut out if we don't continue to fight against moments like this. So I just really want to make a point that we're here today, and it's been unbelievable, the journey that's happened in the last few years. And one of those things I want to talk about is the fact that since 2016, there have been 269 deaths, and most of it on transgender people. So I want to actually just take a minute and listen to the number of people each year, how it increases. And from 2015, 21 transgender people were murdered. And these killings of transgender have continued throughout the years. In 2016, 21 transgender people. 95% of them were people of color. People, 85% of them are women, or people that are under the age of 35. Our youth are being targeted. So that's very difficult, and not being able to have that voice is important to make sure we continue to advocate. In 2016, 25 transgender people were killed, or gender nonconforming. Again, that number continued to rise, and we saw in 2018, 26 deaths. In 2018, we had 22 people die. In 2019, 27. Again, as a reminder, 91% of that count were women of color, women under the age of 30. People that live every day are being targeted, and it's just because you're a woman of color, you're transgender, you're a youth, you're a male. It doesn't matter. You're being targeted, so you have to use your voice. In 2020, we had 44 people that were killed. The majority of them were from the Black and Latinx transgender women. Again, these stories are also going unreported. These numbers are very low and where it's really actually happening, and the numbers that are so much higher. So we need to be aware of that. In 2021, 59 transgender or gender nonconforming people were either fatally shot or killed by other violent means. In 2022, 34. In 2023, and we're only in June, we have 11 that have been killed. Since then, 269 deaths of gender nonconforming people have been murdered through the violence that continues to target our transgender community. These are people that are being killed by acquaintances, partners, and strangers, and some who have been arrested and charged, but others have not been identified, or they're not being brought to justice because somebody feels that their life wasn't worthy. Understanding each status and understanding the risks that are involved, we need to be able to understand where we can help our youth and our community. You know, if you put people at risk in other ways, they start fighting like unemployment. They're not able to get jobs because they don't fit the norm, or they become homeless, or they seek out survival sex work, which is very high, and then they start becoming trafficked. And that's it's another layer to the onion, but it's true. If we don't continue to make it known and start using words like transgender and making sure that we use LGBTQ, words and making sure that we show our pride, we don't want to keep silencing our own voices. And by doing that, we're hiding, and we're not really acknowledging the fears that are out there, and everyone has them. These victims are all like us. They are loving parents, partners, family members, friends, and community members. They've worked with us, they've went to school with us, they go to houses of worship with us. So even if you think that you don't have somebody that you know there's somebody that is in the LGBT community, and they're struggling. So it's your job to look back and say, how can I help you? These are real people who didn't need to deserve to die or have their lives taken from them or families ripped apart. A lot of these details we don't know the ins and outs of every story, but we know that they are important and they matter and they are someone. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, and I want to talk about I'm going to have you come up, but before that, I would like to have my friend Shell, in order to be part of this, and say a prayer, because I want everyone to understand that this is not just, we're raising the flag and it's pride and everyone's cheerful, but then also we don't want to have people think that church doesn't matter to anyone who's gay. Church matters. People matter. Groups matter. Community matters. And you need to have a voice, and we need to be able to stand up and join each other and sharing each other's help. So, Shell, if you don't mind coming up. Oh, I just saw him. Yep. Senator Payano, thank you so much for joining us. I apologize. I just noticed that you were here.
I might need to adjust upward. Is that okay? All right. So my name is Ms. Shell Jackson. Pronouns she, her, they, them, and sometimes sir, depends on the look. Lawrence is my hometown and where my heart is, though I currently reside in the town next door. I've worked here at Lawrence General Hospital since 2005 as a nurse. And I attend services at the North Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in North Andover. Was formerly associated with First Calvary Baptist Church as a member, youth leader, choir member, Christian Education Council member and teacher, diaconate member, and ultimately head deacon. Though I knew who I was from my earliest memories, it took until age 37 to live my life in truth with my identity. I was taught that I had to choose God over my identity. I've grown into the understanding that all of my intricacies are God's creation, and that I am chosen by God and worthy to accept that loving embrace. So I'd just like to say, your words matter. Your actions matter. Your kindness matters. Your strength can lift a being or hinder their spirit. Be the one who speaks through the filter of your heart, who makes the effort to reach out, who chooses to smile in the face of adversity, and to lend a hand to build that bridge. Join me in the spirit of prayer. God of love, light, peace, strength, and power, thank you for your empowerment, for endowing each soul with the ability to choose, and for each and every unnamed blessing you have placed before us. Grant us the grace of accepting what we do not yet understand. Grant us your peace that yields the onslaught of life's tedium. Shed your light on hearts and minds, calling on knowledge to arm our understanding, allowing us to see the nuances of diversity while understanding that we are one people. Grant us your strength to endure what this life can hurl at us. Grant us your patience that we may be a resting place amongst the turmoil and strife this life holds. May the God of love reside in our hearts, allowing us to flourish through adversity and hold each individual that they may rise, hand in hand. May we be the strength, stronger together as a community. Please bless this celebration and the people who work to bring us together, God. Let us celebrate our place in this community as we lift a symbol of our diverse unity toward the heavens you created. Let it be. Amen.
Thank you so much. So, as the 2023 legislation begins and politicians are coming across the country to introduce bills, a lot of those bills are restricting the LGBT community and people and targeting their rights for freedom of expression, safety of transgender students, and access to health for gender dysphoria. Across the country, trans people and our families are gathering and gearing up to fight back to prevent every one of these bills from coming into law. The bills being introduced attack the LGBT community, particularly trans youth, in 7 primary areas: healthcare access, targeting the access to be able to use any of the healthcare that is needed for trans youth. And there's 35 bills that are targeted specifically towards transgender people. Schools and education, 58 bills are targeted in the LGBTQ rights schools for education and setups, and restricting activities like sports, forcing teachers and our students to censor in-school discussions and the LGBT issues that are faced with us, and prevent trans students from participating in anything. Free speech and expression. 19 of those bills target freedom of speech and expression for the LGBT community. Despite the safeguards of the First Amendment right for free expression, politicians are fighting to restrict how the LGBT community can be themselves, limiting access to books and how they can ban and censor them. Access to accurate IDs. 4 bills are targeting the right for accurate identity documents for transgender people. These bills attempt to limit the ability to update gender information on IDs, records, and birth certificates and driver's license. Weakening the civil rights. 7 bills seek to weaken the existing civil rights laws. These bills attempt to undermine and weaken non-discrimination laws by allowing employers, businesses, and even hospitals to turn away LGBTQ people and refuse them equal treatment. Public accommodations. These bills prohibit transgender people from using facilities like restrooms and locker rooms. There are other bills that are targeted towards the LGBT community and how to define transgender, and trying to basically wipe them out of existence in any laws. So that we need to, sure. So the main focus is really trying to make sure we educate adults, support our youth. Suicide is very, very real, very prominent, and very active. It's very hard to hear that a student chose death over being able to be open about who they are sexually, who they want to be proud to stand as, and not fear their employment, not fear, going to school or being able to participate in a sport. Those are rights that we need to continue to advocate for and speak to your legislation, and making sure that we bring that out and open at all times. If you can give me, I'm going to have Senator Payano come up. Sorry, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
I know, right?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Pavel Payano. I'm your state senator covering Lawrence, Methuen, and Haverhill. Before, I know some of you remember me from my work here in the city as a city councilor and as a school committee member. I wanted to make sure, normally when I give speeches or I speak in public, sometimes I get nervous, so I like to have a speech in front of me. But being here with all of you today, I thought it was important for you to hear from one of your elected officials. So I want to make sure that everyone here understands that your elected officials are here fighting for you, that it's important that we stand united. I think there's a war going on. Outside this circle, there are people that are trying to divide us. There are people that are trying to create these wedge issues and start pointing at different people and being like, those people are different. Those people are others. They're not like you. And little by little, I think that's going to break how we envision our society. And when we envision our society, there's certain things I remember when I was a 4th grader and I was reading, our history, reading Declaration of Independence, reading about our Constitution, reading about Martin Luther King. And there are certain truths that are self-evident. There are certain truths that when you hear it, you get goosebumps, and there's something in you that says that is right. Right? And one of those truths is that regardless of your religion, creed, sexuality, gender, ideology, that all of us here are the same people, and we should be given the same opportunities to live as everyone else. making that fight at the State House along with my colleagues, and there are people here in the city that are also doing that fight. And what I think it is beautiful that we are here today, being united in that effort. And a goal that I give to everybody here, a challenge that I give to everybody here, is to spread that. Because I'd love it if next year we can fill this up with double, triple the individuals. And I think that these are issues that are important and that people need to get connected and form community around, because at any point there could be something that might not be in Lawrence, might be in a separate community, and they're going to need support from individuals like us to make sure that that everyone is getting the right defense and people are being treated correctly. So God bless all of you, and thank you for coming up and getting together as a community.
Thank you so much. So next I'd like to have Thomas Michael to come up, just so that we could have a few words from the mayor. Unfortunately, Mayor DePena was not able to attend today, but thankfully Thomas is here to do so.
Okay, this one right here. Hello. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming over. I'm really grateful of all the presence that we have here today in such a short notice, and because of the courage of showing up as well, right? Sometimes we are tired, we are weary, but just showing up, not even having to wage a fight, just showing up has a lot of impact, right? In what we want to accomplish today. So I want to talk about symbols. Symbols are powerful means of communicating a message, right? And today, I want to talk about the message behind a flag. A flag that embodies the collective struggle for freedom, guarantees, acceptance, and dignity. But also, a flag that represents the harsh realities of persecution and discrimination faced by marginalized communities. But what does marginalization really mean? You may ask yourselves, right? It is a social process in which certain individuals or groups are pushed to the outside of society, resulting in their exclusion or limited participation in social, economic, or political activities. It involves the systemic denial of equal opportunities, resources, and rights based on factors such as race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, disability, socioeconomic status, or other characteristics such as the ability to speak English fluently. Marginalized individuals or groups often face barriers that prevent them from fully participating in society, and it can have dire consequences such as social stigma, discrimination, prejudice, and limited access to education, healthcare, employment, housing, political representation, and other essential services. Marginalization can lead to social isolation, powerlessness, poverty, and lack of voice or influence in decision-making processes. It is important to recognize that marginalization is not inherent to individuals or groups, but rather, it is a manufactured product of societal structures, norms, and power dynamics. So the same way we have created the standard of marginalization, we can also eradicate it. Today we are raising a colorful flag that represents the fight against marginalization, and that is the rainbow flag, so that we reflect on the sweat and tears shed throughout a journey that intertwines with the fundamental principles enshrined in our Constitution. The rainbow flag, it is not a mere emblem of celebration. It also symbolizes the unwavering resilience and courage of the darkest days our community and their allies have had to withstand. From the Stonewall riots in 1969 until today, as guardians of our constitutional principles, our duty it is to confront the stark realities of our current political landscape so that we may commit to dismantling these barriers, fostering a society that genuinely embraces diversity, in which we are all different, but also the inclusion in which we can all coexist. Yet let us not lose sight of the future. The radiant vision of the rainbow flag unveils before us. It is a vision where love is stronger than fear and hate, where equality is just not an abstract but a reality. As the rainbow flag soars above us today, let it serve as a powerful symbol that communicates an ongoing quest for equal justice under the law. It calls upon us to challenge the status quo, to dismantle the system perpetuating discrimination, and to demand true equality for all marginalized communities. Together we can march towards a future where every person, irrespective of their sexual orientation, gender identity, race, ethnicity, religion, disability, age, or socioeconomic status, or even their ability to speak English fluently, can bask in the radiant glow of opportunities for all. Thank you for being here today. And Mayor De Peña apologizes for not being able to be here today. We had like 3 simultaneous events going on, and the team had to split to be able to cover them all. And he wants to issue this certificate to Rainbow Alianza that states as follows. In recognition of your value, dedication, and commitment to the LGBTQ+ community, your devotion to promoting pride, acceptance, and inclusion is invaluable to the city of Lawrence and the community we serve. Thank you for making this community better, and I want to issue this to Laura.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I don't know if you want to like post for the picture or something. I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So, I'd like to ask Tomas to join us. Shell, I'd like you to come up. And I just noticed Chief of Staff William Castro is here too. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us so that we can come to the flag pole so we can raise the pride flag today.